Good evening. I hope everyone is doing well this Friday before Halloween, one of the last nights of the Samhain. And if you have followed us these 4 weeks over this journey into horror and insanity, I hope you've enjoyed the ride, but all good things must come to an end, and well, this is certainly no exception. So usually there's some preamble. I talk about the show. I thank my guests. I thank my audience. I ramble. I rant. But tonight, it's a little different because tonight we're going to be jumping straight into the game forthwith. Because beyond the veil, madness and corruption lies. What will happen to these characters on their doomed, frozen corner of the earth upon which they crawl through ice and snow into caves dark and heretofore unknown? Well, we'll just have to find out, won't we? We'll just have to find out. Welcome to you all. Now, one thing I'm going to tell you is we're jumping straight into the narrative. And so it may be that if you ask me a question or even send a super chat, I might miss it. And if that's the case, I apologize. We'll return to whatever value of normal you want to embrace on Monday. But tonight, we are focusing on this game. Tonight's show might last an hour. It might last 5 hours. How long will this group of investigators survive? That's entirely up to them. But I can assure you there will be an after show. There will be discussions of what happened. But ultimately, the question that I asked in the first week of October remains: who will survive and what will be left of them? So without further ado, let us welcome these seekers of the unknown, these delvers into dark knowledge. James as Trevor Hartman, Kevin as Professor James Smith, Todd as Danforth Taylor,
Hubba hubba.
Doomsword as Miles Worthington. So for those of you who haven't been following along, when last we left our intrepid adventurers, 3 had started to climb the summit of the ancient volcano, the defining geological feature on distant, remote, frozen Bouillabaisse Island, leaving their injured companion, the journalist Miles Worthington, to rest in one of the survival shacks on the shores of that blizzard-tossed landscape on the sea. And so we join the adventure in media res in the latter locale. Doomsword, an appropriate user handle, I think, given the circumstances. You are you are in repose currently, yes?
That's correct.
Okay, you have been frightfully injured in falls down the side of the mountain in the dim twilight of the Antarctic Antarctic weather. So, what are you currently doing? Are you just lying there in bed?
Yeah, I assumed. I mean, that's going to be about all I'm doing. Lying there in bed, wishing the pain would go away. Taking my secret stash if I have one to help the pain go away, and keeping my revolver at my side, of course.
Oh, certainly, of course, and
too sure.
Yeah, you have you have replenished your supply from the good stuff. The Europeans not being affected by the strictures of prohibition, so you're currently feeling less pain.
Perfect.
Feeling less pain currently. And for those of you climbing up the slope, I would like all of you to give me a spot hidden roll, please.
All right, for those keeping score at home tonight, I'm using my pumpkin dice.
What are you doing for illumination? As I said, it is kind of twilight, but the real issue is the driving snow.
Using one of the oil lamps I am anyway.
Yeah, I've got an oil lamp in my shotgun loaded for bear.
Okay.
I got a 59 out of 40, so I didn't spot anything.
Okay, you're just kind of trudging along, trying to keep your footing in the howling wind.
I got a 30. Oh, hang on. I'm looking at the wrong one. Okay, 31 in my spot check's a 40, so I succeeded by 9.
Okay. You look down and you notice that your lantern's illuminating. There are deep footprints in the snow, and next to it is a rather large furrow, as though someone was walking and dragging something. Anyone else make a spot hidden roll successfully, which would be...
I did not. 65 of 25.
65 of 25. Okay. So it appears that something is being dragged up ahead of you. You no longer see the bobbing of a lantern or electric torch in the distance up the slope ahead of you.
I call out to the others. It seems somebody is dragging something up this hill.
Let's follow. Chamber around in my rifle.
Yep, time to get the 45 out and make sure that it is properly cocked and locked.
Okay. Let's see. And I'm going to ask each of you to give me a luck roll, please.
That's a note for me.
95 out of 75.
Oh, wow. Okay. So,
I made that.
I got a 79 out of 45.
Okay, so two of you slip on icy patches as you climb upwards, and you each take 3 points of damage.
Arg me mateys.
Legs are wrenched. Heads are gashed as you tumble backwards, losing precious yards in the dark.
I wish we had some cleats.
So, do you continue your assault?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. So you drag yourselves up, brush yourselves off as best as you can, and continue on up the slope. To get my dice out. So the going is a bit more treacherous now, but you're all watching your footing. And there are no more unfortunate accidents. You come to where you think the cave is. It's just a dark spot, and you're a few yards away, and Danforth, you see that the track of footprints and the drag mark go straight to where you surmise the cave is in the dark.
They drug whatever into that cave there. Let's go investigate.
Okay, let's move in.
I follow since I don't have a lamp.
Okay. Yes, you're sticking close because the ice here can be treacherous, as you well know. All right. As soon as you all enter the caves, give me a listen roll.
Got a 94, so I'm suspecting I'm deaf.
It's that.
I got a 91, so I'm completely deaf.
I got a 15.
Nice.
Okay. There is kind of a thrumming sound. It's almost felt more than it's heard, but it's very faint.
Do you hear that?
All I can hear is this blasted wind.
I try to listen more closely. Does it sound like the engine in the boat, or is it more? Is it less mechanical than that?
Give me a listen, and I will apply some modifiers since you are being directed to hear a sound.
67.
And your listen skill?
Yeah, it's 25. So yeah, I got to take my fingers out of my ears first.
Exactly. You pull the cotton that you stuffed in there out. You think you may hear it, but it doesn't seem to be mechanical. If it is mechanical, the machine would have to be massive and underground. But you can't really tell. I mean, this could be folie à deux. You know, if he's starting to hear things, he might be convincing you that you started to hear things. In fact, do you have you have 5% psychology minimum, right?
I do. My psychology is actually. Wait a minute. Oh, it is 5%.
Oh yeah, go ahead and throw the dice.
8 of 5.
Wow.
Oh wow! So there's something you can't quite place your finger on it, but maybe you think maybe he's talking you into, but you're not sure. You're not sure of anything at this point. Honestly,
is the disgusting goo on the walls, or are we at a place where there's not disgusting goo yet?
You're not that deep into the caves yet.
Okay, so can I put my hand against the wall to see if I could feel what the sound is?
Sure. There is a faint humming thrum that you can feel in the wall, and you're not far enough up. The smell is there. The smell is there, and it is stronger than ever.
Okay. I said, well, I think I can feel it. I can't really hear it, but I feel it in the wall.
Yes,
it must be big.
It's like a heartbeat of the mountain or something.
You two have clearly lost your minds. Rocks do not have hearts.
But volcanoes do. This could be getting ready to erupt.
That is a valid point. Let's hurry.
Through the really slick cave.
Carefully make our way deeper.
Yeah.
Into the
We move faster, but still not so fast that we're reckless. Or at least I do.
We are moving safely at a brisk, safe pace.
Okay. You are moving through the cave, and you come to the honeycombed room. Let me see. All of you give me, let's see. Give me a knowledge roll. That's well, you know what? Is there something that might work better there? Yeah, just give me a general knowledge roll.
Sweet. I got a 57.
Okay.
Quit copying me. I got 55.
I got 28 of 50, so I actually succeeded on this one.
Okay. There is more of that orange goo than there was the last time you were here. It's still only on the paths that separate the hexagonal holes of various size across the walls. But yeah, there's definitely more of it now.
Is it significantly more? I mean, if I look at it closely, can I see the goo increasing in volume?
No, it's not increasing
Okay.
in volume.
Okay.
At least you don't think it is.
Well, now we know why it stinks more. There's quite a bit more goo in here than there was.
Does it look like it's moving, like it was dragged in a certain direction or anything? Like if something had been crawling across the floors or leaving a trail?
Let me see. Hold for your character sheet, and I will let you know. Give me a track roll.
Ooh, a 28.
A 28, and your track skill is
10%. Yay.
%. Yeah, so you don't know. You don't know.
Okay.
But the stench is fetid.
Smells like guys.
It smells like that cheese my grandpa used to make.
Meanwhile, back at the radio hut down on the shore, Miles, you are halfway through that pint, and the pain is starting to abate somewhat. You've got a plaster on your forehead there for the severe gash, and you think perhaps by morning, if you keep that foot elevated and don't move it around too much, it'll be a little stiff, but you think you might be able to hobble around on the deck of the ship, presuming the ship is still there. You hear a sort of a scraping. Actually, give me a listen sound, please. Listen check.
100.
He's gone deaf.
No,
Show
100 is awesome,
me
isn't
the
it?
way to go home.
100 is a success, right?
Yes, actually, it is.
That's a critical. That's a critical success, right?
Yes,
That's why
yes.
I'm rolling a natural 20, right?
Very clearly, you hear sort of a feeble scraping knock on the door of the hut.
Okay, am I like just laying in a cot in the middle of the hut to where the door is across from me, or?
Yeah. You're kind of off. You're kind of off to a corner. There's boxes of supplies and everything around you. So yeah, And again, this hut is like 8 by 11. This is not like some massive Quonset where you're all the way at one end and that sort of thing. It's stand up. If you wanted to open the door, it would be stand up, hop, and then you'd be at the door.
Right, but I can see the door directly, right?
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'll point my revolver at the door. Who goes there?
Another feeble scraping knock. just audible over the howling wind outside. Might even be the storm shutters on the windows banging if it wasn't directly in front of you.
All right, I'll yell out again, this time a bit louder.
Again, in a regular scraping knock on the door.
Do I have something in hand that I could use as maybe a crutch to go ahead and haul up, over there?
Sure. There's various tent poles, lengths of pipe, that sort of thing.
All right, yeah, I'll grab a length of pipe, assuming it's within range, and I'll try to prop myself up on that with my left arm while holding my revolver in my right hand. I've got a little false courage at the moment, so I'll go check it out.
Okay. All right. You go over to the door. I'm presuming you open it.
Well, I'd like to place my left hand on it, assuming I can put that pipe like under my armpit. Put my left hand on it and see if there's any vibration, assuming the sound occurs again. Up against the door or whatever, or if it appears to be coming from like somewhere else near the door. You know what I mean?
Sure. All right. As you are standing there, readying yourself, you can hear it very clearly now. Something scrape and bang on the door again in a rhythmic knocking fashion.
All right. This door opens inward toward me.
Yes, it does.
All right. I'll take a step back or two and steady myself and reach over, doing my best to keep the revolver pointed at the door opening and open the door.
Okay. You open the door and we Dutch wipe back to the cave.
It's some guy at the door saying, "We've been trying to reach you about your car's insurance."
So those of you in the cave, there's the honeycombs before you. You've got sort of winding tunnel that leads up and away. What are you doing?
Gingerly making our way past the honeycombs.
Well, I want. Can we see if in the scum if somebody's been dragged through here?
Give me a. I tell you what. Combine tracking and spot hidden and roll together.
Okay.
Hey, there you go.
All right. So I got looks like a 45.
Okay.
Let's see. Tracking. It's 10%. Spot hidden is 25. Yep. It's a failure.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Yep. Okay. Damn.
The orange slime is everywhere.
Yeah, I'll tell the others. I was hoping that I could see if somebody got dragged through here, but I can't really see it. It's just so prevalent.
There's not very many other ways they could have gone. They must have gone toward that pillar that we found in the center of the sloped area.
I say we press on.
Okay, we'll press on.
Okay, so you all of you give me a luck roll, please.
Good, a 58 out of 75.
Okay.
Yep.
You're
94 out of 45.
okay, and
Yep.
so
James Smith is success with 48 out of 75.
okay, so two of you find your way across the lattice work. Let's see. However, Danforth, you take another point of damage as your leg slips into one of the larger honeycombs, and you wrench it quite badly. The leg of your pants is now covered with a fetid slime, and so are your hands, because you've got to push yourself up to climb up. And just as you come across the other side, and you guys are looking back at the horrible hive-like holes, you hear a scream of inhuman agony from somewhere above you.
I raise my rifle and look up.
And it just trails off. It's from somewhere ahead of you. You'll have to climb upwards and follow the tunnels around if you wish to investigate.
Definitely.
Yeah. Helping Danforth to his feet.
Danforth's wiping his hands on his coat so he can grip his gun and lantern better.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You did have a lantern. Give me another luck roll, please. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Damn.
Okay. How bad can I screw this roll up? Let's find out, shall we? Woo! I rolled a 4, baby, out of 45.
You held that lantern with a death grip. That is one of your 2 sources of light, and it did not fall and it did not break.
Oh, thank you, God.
All right. So you're all hobbling upwards towards whatever lies ahead of you. You climb up the upward slope, follow it around to the left through the narrowing tunnels, and you hear a voice speaking. All of you give me a listen roll, but this is less can you hear it and more can you make out what's being said.
10%.
10%.
Yeah, 10 out of 40, I believe.
Nice.
80 of 25. Yeah.
Okay,
And-
yeah, that echo is still.
Yeah, and
25,
I roll a 54. Apparently, my hearing aid batteries have died, and I don't know it.
Your hearing aid batteries this year are about the size of this glass. Okay.
You got some goo in your ear.
Yeah. So yes, it is Trevor. You can definitely hear a voice speaking, and it's English. Not just the words are English, but it is English accented, as in from England. And I will spare you. I mean, the exigencies of online play, I can't really hand you a note card. The voice is saying something like, Yes, that's right, you little mongrel. Scream in pain. Pray to your useless Nazarene. Soon, your blood, your screams, yes, they will satisfy him, and he will come, and he will grant me the powers that I desire. Soon I will reestablish the empire. I will be its new head. I will cast down all those who stand between me and glory. Oh, yeah, they thought they could throw me away on a battlefield for those useless continentals, but it was there that I saw and embraced true darkness. Yes, your blood will open the paths to that.
Okay. Does the voice sound familiar?
Oh, yes. Yes, it does. It sounds given your role, it sounds exactly like Ambassador Blumbert.
Aha. That's what I was thinking. That's the ambassador. He's crazy. What is he talking about? He's babbling nonsense.
Crash wipe back to the radio hut. Miles, you've opened the door. The light pouring out of your little hut, I'm assuming you've got a lantern or your electric torch or something, yes?
Yeah. I assume I would have lit a lamp,
Okay, two things. There is a bloated, naked figure standing in front of you. Give me an idea roll, please. Or not an idea roll, but a knowledge roll.
I was waiting for that to be a sanity check. Oh, shit. Hang on. Dropping dice. 70. I miss.
Oh no.
Okay. There's just this bluish, pale, bloated, naked form standing in front of you. Eyes are open, but they are white, clouded, and rolled back in the head. Mouth is slightly agape. Body has crude stitches over a Y incision. And it just looks at you and sort of makes this gurgling groan sound. Give me a sand roll.
That is a success with a 26.
That is a success. How wonderful. You only lose 1 point of sand from seeing an actual walking corpse.
Hey, that's not too bad.
That's
I've
not
got my
too
stuff
bad at all.
together.
Um,
I shoot it in the head.
okay. Let's go ahead and roll initiative. We'll just do a D6.
I got a 2.
Okay. As you are fumbling to get your gun snags on your jacket slightly, it reaches out. Oh, yeah. It reaches out and grasps your collar with one hand. The other swings up, and in it is a black covered book. And it is literally shoving it against your face as it is shuffling forward. The smell from this thing is because it now has a hold of you, is the odor of formaldehyde or embalming fluid or something, and rotting skin. So go ahead and give me an attack roll. That is a percentage based. As you well know, you are using a pistol. You are basically at point blank range. So, your firearm. Let's see. You have handgun of 30, and I'm gonna double that for essentially point blank range.
All right. Come on. 67. That would be a miss.
Yeah, the fact that you've got some musty book being pushed into your face is not helping your aim at all. So as you're trying to bring it up, its hand comes up and your shot just roars off into the night.
Maybe it alerted somebody.
No, it's possible. So it's a new round. It goes first. And it is going to we're going to treat this as a fist/punch. It's basically trying to slam this thing into your face. Oh, wow. And it does so effectively. you take 3 more points of damage. It is effectively bludgeoning damage, which we will rule to mean that it's not going to kill you. So what does that bring you to?
3.
Okay, yeah, you are stunned. This book is large and heavy, and it just slams you in the face with it. Do you want to counterattack it?
I'll hastily try to grab the book out of its hand.
Okay. We'll treat that as grapple, and that is 25%.
Man, brutal. 83.
Yeah, you're flailing around trying to grab it. This thing, it whatever it is, it's a small build. You know, it looks human. It's smaller than you are, and it just actually. So you said you're trying to grab the book, right?
Yeah, it obviously wants me to have it.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. You reach up and you snatch it out of its hand.
Okay.
So you've got it now.
Yeah. Can I back off a couple of feet?
Yes. As soon as you grab it, it releases you and collapses on the floor.
All right. Dare I open the tome?
You might want to shut the door because it is freezing cold.
Good point. I'll do so. I'd like to push with my feet, and a combination of feet and iron pipe or whatever. Try to push that bloated disgustingness out the doorway.
Okay. That does take you a few minutes. So while you're doing that, we'll cut back up to the cave. We'll do a diamond wipe to go back up to the cave. So you've all heard this scream. You've all heard this speech being spoken.
Come on, let's go find out what they're doing up there.
Yeah, somebody's ranting up there. Fanatics. Gotta be fanatics.
Gotta be. I say we help whoever's screaming.
Sounds good to me.
So we'll be helping each other, right?
Right.
Okay. So you hastily climb up through the tunnels, and as you're rounding the last corner into what you think is probably the end chamber there, I mean, you never found any other passages out. As you're approaching, you can see that it is illuminated within, dimly. And there's kind of a sort of an unwholesome yellow radiance coming from within. And you're all close enough to hear now. Everyone give me, let's see. Let me have a quick gander. Oh, that's the AD&D Monster Manual. That's not going to help us. I have many PDF tabs open. Okay, so everybody give me an occult roll.
54.
I failed by 34.
Okay.
My occult was 15. I rolled an 84.
Okay. Yeah. You're not sure what's being uttered as you enter the room. Well, are you entering the room? Let me ask you that. I don't want to assume anything.
Barrels
Well,
first.
do we see who's being attacked, or do we just see shadows?
It is bright enough, and I'm presuming you didn't extinguish your own lights for any stealth purposes. You were certainly making enough noise that there is a figure lying on the basalt extrusion outcropping in the middle of the room. Standing there in a black robe is Blumbert. He is holding a bloody knife in one hand and something dripping blood in his other hand. And he is looking down at whatever is lying on this and says, "No, you yellow bastard, you don't pass out on me yet. Oh, no, your suffering must be prolonged. Yes, you must know what it is to feel pain and darkness as I have known." And
Yeah, we're going to help right now.
Then Fourth yells out, "Drop the knife, step away from the body."
All right. He looks up at you, and it's Blumbert. Any sanity is completely gone from his eyes. And he gazes at you all evilly and drops the wet mass in his hand and says, well, if it isn't the colonists, the darkness that I shall bring across the world in the name of new empire will sweep across your mongrel nation as well. Watch as I kill this filthy Chinaman. As I sacrifice him to dark gods, his suffering will be legendary, and you will be witness to a new apotheosis.
Then Fourth shoots at him.
Yeah, it's time to shoot.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and he has begun to chant in some horrible unknown tone. Everybody give me a sand roll, please.
Oh, for the love of Pete. 85. And my sanity is 39.
Okay. You take a point of sand. Just because he's vivisecting a quietly moaning and slightly moving form on there, and has thrown down a handful of human flesh. So it's pretty awful. Anybody who sees this, you're shocked by this scene of human sacrifice. And I should point out that on various outcroppings of rock, there are black candles that have been set up. Let's go ahead. Let's see. We'll just do an initiative roll. We're gonna just quickly adapt it. D&D simple. We're gonna roll a D6 for side and for one and all. So James, go ahead and roll.
That is a 3.
All right, the party will go first. What is Trevor Hartman doing?
Bam. Shooting.
What is Professor James Smith doing?
I'm shooting it with my 45 auto.
And what is Danforth Taylor doing?
Danforth is letting out a very manly war cry of fear and shooting his shotgun full of slugs, baby.
Okay. So those of you, you can all take your shots. They're percentile based, and you should have your firearm skill listed.
Yeah, my shotgun is 30.
Okay.
My rifle's 50. I rolled a 61.
Okay.
I rolled a 93. I hope I didn't shoot my homeboy, Mr. Shin.
Okay.
I got a 64 of 20, so I think we're all really fumbling with this stuff.
We're shocked. We're all in shock.
Blumbert's luck roll is amazing. He does not get hit with ricochets. Trevor Hartman does not get hit with a ricochet. I rolled an 01 and then a 100. So James Smith is okay, and Danforth Taylor is okay. So yeah, your shots go pinging around them. He's cackling like mad. He's taking his round and plunging the knife into the fellow's abdomen. And as badly injured as he is, you wouldn't have thought that he could have had the fortitude to scream more. but he does. He does. He shrieks as Blumbert's knife goes very low in his abdomen. And I don't want to get demonetized to tell you what Blumbert is, how he's mutilating his body. And Blumbert is chanting and screaming as he is doing this. And you all notice a very perceptible rumble in the cave.
Danforth's going to shoot again.
Okay. So that's what he did in the round. You guys have the initiative. You can take shots. They all scream for Blamforth.
This time I got him. 46.
Ooh,
Okay.
I got him. I rolled an 11.
All right.
I still missed.
Well, he's being riddled with bullets. So let's see. Did I give you on your character sheets, or did I give you the stats for your firearms? I can look them up real quick if not.
Yeah, my rifle's 2d6 plus 3.
Yeah, and my slugs is 4d6.
Wow. Okay. Roll your damage.
I rolled a 14 total.
Wow.
Let's see, a total of 13.
27. Okay. Well, he screams as your bullets tear into his body and flops backwards out of sight. You hear a clatter of whatever dagger he had.
Danforth will run up to check on Mr. Shin on the outcropping there. See if he can help stop the bleeding or something.
You're up close to him. Give me a sand roll, please.
Oh, for the love of Pete, 78.
Okay, that brings you. You're going to lose. Yeah, you're going to lose 3 sand. You have never seen a body mutilated like this. You have never seen someone take this much mutilation. His chest is still heaving up and down, but that you don't even know if that's a reflex. That you're like, how could somebody do this? What does that put you at sand wise, by the way?
Me?
You.
That would be 35 sanity.
Ooh.
Okay, all the way from 45 to 35. Well, let's see. Let's see what that's going to do to you. What are our other 2 intrepid folks doing up there?
I'm stepping over to the ambassador and keeping my rifle trained on him, and if he's moving at all, I don't want him surprising us with something.
The ambassador is either dead or very sleepy.
He's misting. Yeah, I'm gonna watch the other side because we didn't find an exit in this room, right? When we were
You
through
did
this
not.
before.
You did not find an exit
Right.
in this room. No.
So I'm just going to, keep my pistol targeted towards the other side of that table / pillar, left and right, with avoiding pointing at my friends since I obviously am not very good with this thing.
Okay. Okay, so
Will he survive, Danforth?
I'll get back to you on what Danforth says in response. So we're going to have a quick check here. My apologies. Danforth,
Here for the moment.
you understand now. Blumbert was trying to kill everyone. Who knows how far Blumbert's apparatus reached? Who knows who he had recruited? Was it the Norwegians? Was it your fellows? Everyone is suspect and everyone is an enemy. The paranoia begins to creep in. So, anyway, it dawns on you. You understand now. Oh, it's all becoming clear in your mind. Everything is. Why were you sent? Why were you sent to this frozen hell? Because they are out to get you. How you choose to express this is entirely up to you, but you're starting to understand now. All of this has been an elaborate trap to get you and the people close to you. If there are people close to you and they're not part of the conspiracy also. So he asks you how he's doing. Your medicine is 5. Your first aid is 30. Give me a first aid roll. Actually, you can combine the two. 35 is your target.
Oh, I'm retiring the pumpkin dice. I rolled a 100.
No, that's a success. That's yeah, that's a great success. He is going into what in the 1920s they understood as deep shock and will probably not live too much longer.
Okay, I think these two guys are in on the plot to get me here, right?
Maybe that's up to you, really.
Well,
but you know
they are.
Things started going downhill, but Mr. Jing here, yeah, if he was in a with a critical success like that, if he was in a full service state of the art for 1920s hospital, they would be able to ease him out of the painful death that he's currently experiencing. That would be the best that they could do. He is that badly injured.
I call the other two and I say, "Come pick up Mr. Shin."
Trevor looks over at him. Does it appear like he's going to survive from where I'm standing, or? I mean, I'm not looking down at him, so I can't really see all the details.
So I'm sorry, you are going over there to where he's at? Or?
Looking over. I'm still standing next to the ambassador to make sure he's not going to grab something.
I'll go over and help if I can. Right? I'm pretty damn useless as this pistol. I'll still have it up, but I'm going to walk over there.
I yell, leave the pompous British bastard there. Come over here. It's going to take both of y'all to carry Mr. Shin.
Okay. Yeah. As you get close enough, you're not really surprised by a horribly mangled corpse, but you are gonna. It is a bit of a shock. So go ahead and give me a sand roll. Like, you knew it was bad. You suspected it was bad, but
I missed by 6.
Well, that's a miss is a miss. Oof. Yeah, that's 3 sand, unfortunately.
All right. Is there a threshold I need to worry about percentage-wise overall?
What is your current sand versus your starting sand?
I'm 10 down, so 75 to 65.
65. That is. You're shaky, but you're still okay.
Okay, it's about 1/8, a little over 1/8.
Yeah. It's you're not quite to a fifth yet. So, yeah, you're like, oh, Okay, I didn't know that could actually happen to a human body. But yeah.
Is he alive, Professor?
He won't be for long. Come help pick him up.
How
We'll have to carry him down.
how injured does he look? I mean, is he bleeding profusely?
His abdomen is open and he has been unmanned.
Okay, so does he have a jacket or a coat? Or
there are the tattered remains of clothes, of normal clothes there.
Okay, can we make improvised bandages with those and see if we can bandage him? I know it's hopeless, but maybe it'll help with his pain, right?
A medicine roll is in order if you're attempting to do that.
Yep.
Or, well, no, that's more of a first aid. I'll give you a first aid roll. That's base of 30.
And that's what I have.
That's
I
what
got
you
27.
You got a 27. Okay. You are able to take his shirt and kind of wrap it around his abdomen and his wounded area below his abdomen, and kind of stanch the bleeding. His breathing is shallow and ragged and gaspy, but that's the best you can do.
Okay.
Trevor moves over and looks down at him to see what he can figure out, whether or not this guy's going to make it. Back to the hut in the freezing cold winds and everything, if he'd even survive that.
That is a medicine roll.
Okay. Oh, a whole 5%. Yay.
Yeah, I mean, you're not a medical doctor.
Oh, I rolled a 3.
Great roll.
That is that is sufficient. You think that he is probably not going to survive more than a few minutes more.
Okay, I look at the professor and then I glance over at Danforth. There's no use. He won't make it.
We have to try, man. If we've got the bleeding under control, just each one of you pick him up. Let's get him out of here.
He won't make it down the mountain. I'm telling you.
He
Freezing
will.
winds. I just shake my head and take a step back.
Danforth points his gun and says, "You will pick him up."
I'll say no need for that nonsense. I'll help you. But this man's gonna suffer because of it. Just letting you know.
He's not a big guy. He weighs maybe 120 pounds.
Right. So, he could fireman carry him, but that wouldn't be appropriate for this wound, right?
I know all about your plan. Your plan to get me here. You wanted to do to me what happened to Mr. Shim, but I caught on. I'm quick. Both of y'all, you both stay in front of me.
What
and
are
I'm
you talking
pointing
about?
my gun back from one to the other.
I whisper quietly to to my companion next to the body, and I say, "I think he may be a little unhinged. Let's just do this and get through it, and maybe we can do what's needed next."
Fade back to the Radio Shack. Miles, it's been about an hour and you've been perusing this book.
I have a question.
Yes.
During that time, could I have attempted first aid on myself?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a first aid roll.
All right, that's a 30. Let's see how we do here. 90. Psst.
Okay. Yeah. No, you can't. You can, like the plasters that got knocked loose when this thing was slamming you in the face with this book and clutching you by the neck. You can reaffix those, but that's about it. Drink more booze.
Drink more booze. That's it.
Okay. So as you peruse this book, let me see here. As you're perusing this book, sitting there, freezing, thinking about the fact that something that looked like a living corpse delivered it to you and then collapsed on the floor, you are going to cocked. Don't ask me how a D4 got cocked. It happened. You are going to lose 7 sand.
Whoa!
And what does that put you at?
So 7, that'll put me at 40, and that's exactly 1/5 of what I began with.
Excellent.
For you.
All right.
Damn. I figured news guy would have a real resistance to this stuff.
A news guy would. I'm on a tabloid beat.
Even more so.
Well, that's true. That's true.
It's probably more horrifying to work there than be on this mountain.
Yeah, but all that stuff was supposed to be fake. What do you guys drug me into?
The printed word is the gateway for the devil.
Bat boy. Ah.
All right. So
Can I at least get some Cthulhu mythos or something?
yes, your mythos knowledge goes up by 11, and you just as you're leafing through this, whatever this tome is supposed to be, you just kind of curl up into a fetal position on your cot. You are catatonic. You have unfortunately gained special insight into some rather dark knowledge.
Sure have.
You're like, suddenly your existence shrinks to insignificance as you read about the focus of this book seems to be on something called Nyogtha, the living shadow, and how soon it will rise up and snuff out even the very sun itself and cast the world into darkness and help pave the way for older, darker things. But it will have its time to revel and consume and digest. And there will be no escape, even in death, for humanity. So,
boy, you got the good book there, don't you?
Hey, it wasn't the Kitab al-Aziz for the Pancodic fragments or anything like that. Meanwhile, back in the cave, with one final shuddering gasp, Mr. Shin expires.
You killed
He
him.
goes,
This was part of your plan.
Danforth, you saw what happened. It wasn't us.
Yeah, this man was injured before we entered the cave.
Yes, right. Both of you, lay down your arms. You'll walk
Lay
in front
yours
of
down.
me. Heads will roll because of this.
Lay your weapon down, Danforth. You're suffering from some sort of dementia.
Dementia? Surely that's it. You're trying to paint me as the crazy one when I finally see what's going on here.
I'm diving behind the podium thing, the table, whatever the hell it is.
The sudden movement, Danforth is just gonna shoot.
Okay, that's why I'm
Okay.
dodging.
Let's go ahead and roll initiative. Danforth, go ahead and roll a d6. James, what is Hartman doing?
Is he pointing the gun?
I'm pointing the gun at the one that dove.
The professor.
Okay.
Yeah, me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna try to dive and tackle him and take him down. I don't want to hurt him. I just want to take him down.
Okay, so you're trying to grapple. So let's go ahead. And we're gonna do initiative for each of you since you're kind of all doing independent actions. James, roll a d6.
I got a 3.
Okay, Kevin, roll a d6.
I got a 4.
And
Danforth got a 6, baby.
Of course,
It's
you did.
going down. It's going down.
okay,
Well, it
open
depends.
fire.
Are we doing original D&D where you give the other team your score? No. Okay. Awesome. That's better for me.
But now I have a question for the keeper here. Since he was diving, and that's what triggered me to shoot, shouldn't my shotgun thing go down some from 30 because it's more reaction than actually, you know what I mean?
If you want to take a penalty on your shotgun blast, that's fine with me.
Okay, well, what do you want to move it down to? Because I figure he's diving, so he's low, and
roll it and let's see if it's matter. Let's see if it
Okay.
matters.
okay. Ooh, 38. So nope.
No, you didn't miss, or no, it doesn't matter.
No, if it was 30, I rolled a 38. So
Even without
Okay, yeah.
penalty, he failed.
So
yeah,
the roar,
I missed by 8.
the roar of the shotgun again fills the cave with its thunderclap. You are you're all deafened by it, but it misses completely. Who is next to go? I believe that's
It's me.
Kevin. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so-
you
I'm diving.
dive.
Yeah.
There's a boulder you think is big enough, and you're now on the floor behind it. Trevor Hartman, you are attacking to grapple. Give me a percentage roll to grapple.
Percentage.
Drop me like a bad habit, baby.
92. I'll fall flat on my face.
Yeah, you literally like step on a loose bootlace and just stagger and bounce off the altar. And you now have some of Mr. Shin's blood and viscera on your cloak, or on your coat rather. You only have one target in front of you now. There, Danforth. So what are you doing?
I'll shoot at the guy that obviously tried to attack me.
Clearly. So this is a pump shotgun, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So you have 1, 2. I think you got 4 more rounds in the tube, but I could be wrong about that.
Okay, I've already fired 1, so or 2 actually. I fired.
Yes.
No, wait.
No
I
worries.
fired once when I came in and missed. Fired the second time, hit.
Yeah.
Fired the third time, missed. This would be the 4th time.
Yeah.
So
This
this
would be
this would be the last one, right?
Let me see. Let us take a look. Should have put this on a note, and I apologize to our audience and my players. Shotgun shots. The shots per round, that doesn't really help me. Yeah, I'm going to say 6 in the tube. So you've got.
So I've got two left, and after this one, I'll only have 1.
Yes.
Okay.
Dungeon Minister counting shots in the Clue movie 1 + 2 + 2 + 1.
Oh, I rolled a 23.
Uh-oh.
Ouch.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
we're not rolling for
I'm
initiative.
sorry. I'm so sorry.
Were we not rolling for initiative or anything, or was it?
No, it was just the one time. That's 4d6.
Oh my God. This just got real. 4 and 4 is 8, 5 is 13, 3 is 16.
Oh, yeah, I'm
shit.
dead.
Yeah.
I was down to 9 already, so
Yeah,
Oh,
you,
wow.
you
I'm sorry.
splatter
I'm so sorry.
Trevor Hartman across the floor of this cave. Yeah, he opens up like a can of beans thrown in a bonfire.
I'm so sorry.
that's no problem.
What does Professor Smith do?
Do I know what happened? I mean, I heard the shot and I heard a guy fall. Is he still? Who do I hear breathing? Because I'm guessing I didn't see what happened. I only heard it.
Yeah,
Right.
no, you only heard it, so you're not sure. But what are you doing?
Well, I'm gonna have my pistol up, waiting for somebody to come around that boulder, either side.
Okay.
Head height, you know. I got 6 shots left, and I'm gonna use all 6 when somebody comes around the corner.
You might want to just use 5.
Yeah, 1 for myself. Agreed. Yeah.
Danforth, knowing he's only got 1 shot left, is going to keep his gun trained on the boulder where he knows the professor's hiding behind, and he's going to try to ease his way over to pick up the knife the British guy had.
Yeah, this is what your character, because Danforth is an historian and antiquarian. Give me, let's see. It's fairly common. I'm not going to make you roll for that. Yeah, this is what is called a kris. It's got like a serpentine blade.
It's a racing dagger. Awesome.
Yeah, it seems to be scalpel sharp. And it's got some funky designs in the metal. That, if are you interested in knowing anything about those?
No, right now the only thing on my mind is there's an enemy behind the rock. I've got 1 shot left, and this knife will make do when I run out of shells.
Well, I'm going to yell from behind the boulder, Trevor.
It knows your name.
Is something says that to me?
No.
Okay, holy shit.
I don't want atmosphere.
Okay, I see Trevor twice again, and then if he doesn't respond, I guess I have to make my inference that I say, Danforth, where are you?
I am standing in knowledge. What are you?
I'm just wanting to get out of this cave. So
I bet you are. I bet you are. So you can go tell and ruin my reputation. You've been jealous this whole time that I was going to take your job.
Well, either you're going to be the last man standing, or you're going to be the one with a bad reputation. It's one of those two. So
now, is there any way I could roll to come out of this, or is this just Danforth is just going to be a jerk?
Well, I mean, it's up to you on how you play your character through this. I mean, paranoia doesn't have to be like. It's entirely up to you how you want to play this out. I'm just saying, in Danforth's mind, there is now a vast conspiracy that's been leveled against you. They're all out to get you.
I said, you shot and killed your friend, Danforth. What are you thinking?
He attacked me. He was no friend. He was in on it. So are you. Are you the ringleader?
I guess I am. And I'm going to peek around and try to shoot him. If I could see him.
Oh, yeah, because I'm just standing there with...
Yeah, I'll just use his voice as a measure of where he might be.
Okay. Given that this is a peep shot and you're kind of coming out of cover, we'll go ahead and do a new initiative for as long as that's going to last. Each of you roll a d6.
I got a 2.
Oh, I rolled a 5.
Good shot.
Okay. Take your shot.
I feel horrible. I just want y'all to know I feel horrible.
It's the game. It's not you.
Yep.
I'm gonna have to call the dungeon minister after this and like atone for sins. I just want y'all to know that.
Maybe you need to get some of those dice.
62, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's your eyes sting a little bit as cordite and the spatters of sand as the pellets blast out into the cave wall. Return fire.
Yeah, except I'm really bad at this.
01, 01, 01, 01. Or a 99.
59. Yeah, I failed by 29.
Okay, yeah. I mean, you blam, you flinch when that shotgun blast and you peel off a shot. So you have 5 left if you're not being pragmatic.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm going to get out of this or I'm not. So
okay. Yeah, I'm sorry about that with your character there, James.
No problem.
I yell, I could do this all day. Can you do it all day? And I'm going to go to the other side of the boulder this time.
Okay. What is Danforth doing?
Danforth is now officially out of ammo in his gun.
Okay.
I don't think he brought any extra ammo.
Nobody said anything to me about
that.
So Danforth is going to toss the gun to one side of the boulder and with the knife try to rush around the other side. So I'm going to try to distract and then jump.
Okay. So you're tossing. Both of you roll a d6.
All right.
And tell me what you got.
I rolled a 5 again.
Okay.
Come on, roll
Rolled a
6.
2 again. How convenient.
Okay.
That Applegate training I got with this firearm is useless.
Why couldn't I have been doing this against a monster?
Which side are you throwing your gun and ducking around?
I'm throwing the gun at the left side, and I'm going to try to duck around the right side to get at it with the knife.
All right, so it's his choice. You guys are basically going to be eye to eye when you roll out the far side of the boulder. Go ahead and make your knife attack as you do that. You hear the gun clatter. You kind of flinch again and wonder, hey, did he just rack another round in? And as soon as you turn around, he's lunging at you with a knife. So go ahead and we'll treat this as a fist/punch.
Okay, this is a 50%.
Ouch.
Oh, thank God I rolled a 53.
Yeah, you stumble just a little bit because he's kind of hunched down, but you are now literally face to face. So if you want to take a shot with your pistol there.
Absolutely. This guy's nuts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Shoot, man.
Shoot me now. All right.
Yeah, 94. Yeah. I guess I was pressing the pistol against his head and it uncharged the spring or something.
Yeah, you're just that startled. You're just that spook. Give me a luck roll if you would, please, Danforth.
Okay, here we go. Oh my God. My luck's a 45. I rolled a 7. What a time. What a really crappy time for the die.
You don't get beamed in the back of the head by a ricochet. Okay. There is a shift in the ground. You can feel the ground rumble, and the rumble continues into your bodies, and you can feel, both of you, you can feel your teeth vibrate in your jaw like a hum.
Well, I'm going to tell him, Danforth, this is me doing this. Get out of here and you'll survive. All the while I'm looking for an exit.
Well, obviously Danforth thinks that if he kills the professor, that the rumbling will stop.
It won't.
Can't argue with that.
Oh man.
The good news is it won't.
You have to rear back with your knife to stab, so I'm going to give it to the pistol. You can blast on him again, there, James.
All right.
Absolutely.
I got a 90. I'm really terrible with this thing. I haven't hit anything.
Wouldn't he get like a major bonus since I'm just right there?
I am giving him a major bonus because you're right there.
But I'm rolling over 90.
How sad is it? I'm trying to talk the keeper into allowing the other character to shoot me.
Okay. What do you do?
Well, if it appears that I am not.
I'm sorry. That was Todd.
Oh,
that was Todd I was directing that at.
Okay.
You got the Chris. He takes a shot at you. You're right there.
Yep.
I have to try to stab
me.
Punch attack. Punch attack.
Oh my God. I rolled a 10.
Okay. You stab him.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
All right. So a knife is going to be, we're going to treat that as a D4 plus 2.
Okay. D4, 2 plus 2 is 4.
All right. I'm at 10.
Okay. Yeah. You feel the cool touch of steel as it this icy blade slams into your upper body, but doesn't puncture anything vital. You have 3 shots left in your revolver.
I'm running. I'm terrible with this pistol. It's better that I get the hell out of here. I'm looking for the exit and running. But I don't have a lamp, right?
No, you don't.
My lamp should be laying there.
Is the lamp near me?
Give me a luck roll. Give me a luck roll.
Okay.
Oh, and Danforth, my rifle's laying there too.
45. So yeah, it's 30 under.
Oh yeah. There's a lamp set. One of them set a lamp on the plinth, and you can snag it as you run past.
That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm gonna grab it and I'm gonna start running towards the exit that I know of.
Okay. Does Danforth wish to stop him or attempt to stop him?
Yes.
How? By stabbing or grappling or what?
I'm gonna try to tackle him.
Okay. Give me that's a grapple.
Mm-hmm. Okay, 25%. Not as good at grappling. Oh, thank God. 73.
Yeah, he darts out the other side of the boulder, and the boulder, you try and lunge over the top of it and basically just high center yourself. So you're now running down tiptoeing, because if you run, you're going to split your face open on the basalt floor.
Well, once I get to the slope, it's slide time.
Okay, you're going to take.
I'm taking the slip and slide.
Well, you're going to take a point of damage. It's gashing and tearing up your skin. The smell from the honeycomb room is worse than it ever was. You don't know if it's just the fear because you're breathing more rapidly or what. But yeah, the rot smell is overwhelming. What is Danforth doing?
Danforth is going to. Well, this is another question. Would Danforth be in the right frame of mind to think to grab the rifle that's on the ground back where he was first attacked?
Give me an idea roll.
Okay. Ooh, no, 98. So he's
No,
too
you're
far
just
gone.
get him.
So yeah, so I knife in hand and I'm just screaming, make it stop, because I'm thinking he's causing the mountain to shake, and so I'm taking off after him.
Okay, the thrumming has gotten more and more prominent as you approach the room of honeycombed hexagonal holes. As you are approaching your lantern, it's not getting dimmer as far as you can tell. It's just not illuminating as much. It's just not illuminating as much. You've got
I'm sorry. I have another question. This is kind of the big one. Since I've been shooting the shotgun and everything, that's a two-handed weapon. I would have had to set my lantern down, so I don't have my lantern right now, right? I'm just running with the knife in my hand, right?
You put your lantern on the plinth, and it has left the room with Professor Smith.
Okay, perfect, cool.
There is a little bit of faint light down, and you can grab one of the candles if you want, one of the black candles around the room.
Absolutely. That's what I'll do. I'll grab one on the way out.
Okay. As you're moving forward, again, your lantern is not illuminating properly. It stops after a few rows of holes, like it is being held back by a palpable darkness. Danforth, you arrive and there's your former ally just standing there with the lantern held up. The darkness before him glistens faintly.
So it's physically holding back the lantern, or it's the light that's being held back?
The light is being held back. There are shadows that are extruding themselves in 3 dimensions towards you. Both of you give me a sand roll.
Oh, shit.
Well, this isn't going to go good for me. I can tell you that right now. I rolled a 1.
Got 27, so I'm good.
It is your very madness that saves you there. However, both of you, that is 3 sand loss to Danforth, and that is 2 sand loss to Professor James Smith. The darkness literally, physically engulfs you. The last sane living thought in your head is a horrible realization that you have become entrapped by the great old one known as Niogtha, the living darkness, as you are pulled down into endless, bottomless pits that know no termination on this earth.
It grabbed both of us?
It grabbed both of you like a giant wave It just embraced you and pulled you down.
At least
Well,
it's not
that's a
Devin.
fitting ending for Danforth. Because I mean, come on.
Okay, well, nothing left for me here.
So,
So, did you
meanwhile,
guys catch the Bears game or what?
back at the radio hut, the next thing you know, the next thing you know, Miles, is you are being carried by sailors and placed in one of the motor launches and taken to the ship. And for dramatic effect, give me one more sand roll.
As I babble incoherently.
Yes.
I succeeded.
Okay, yeah, you're stony silence as the motor launch returns to the ship, and you look at the little dismal sheds and huts on that alien shoreline receding in the distance and fading in the mist. And so ends Call of Cthulhu for October 2022. Gentlemen, thank you.
Yes.
The worst horror is that nobody's going to believe him.
Yeah, they won't listen in Arkham Asylum.
I mean, honestly, that is entirely Lovecraftian.
Yeah.
One person survived and is hauled back to Arkham as a raving lunatic.
I'm just glad I'm not the guy who killed everybody else.
Right? And I would like to apologize for that right now.
No, hey, it's part of the game. That's what it was.
That's
the way it works.
That's the way the dice work. The game ended in blood and madness. So the big reveal, and I don't think I'll save this as an adventure to run again. Obviously, our audience wouldn't like that. But I would like some commentary in the video below, whether you're watching this at some point in the future, not in the distant future, like if it's 2029 and I'm off in a nursing home somewhere or worse. Don't leave a comment below. I think you should do this next, Bill. I won't see it or care. But no, leave a comment underneath, or you can tell us over in the I keep pointing in the wrong direction, over in the comment section over there. Would you like another horror game, another Call of Cthulhu game for next Halloween? Just let me know, and we can have this same fun all over again. Essentially, the Ambassador Blombert served in the First World War, lost a tremendous portion of his sanity because of fighting in the trenches there, became extremely embittered and resentful at the diminishing of the British Empire. At some point, stumbled upon a copy of the Book of Eben and studied it and learned how to call up Niogtha, which he did with a human sacrifice. Poor Mr. Shen. Wave of mutilation, I didn't need to know that. But anyway, poor Mr. Shen was his blood sacrifice, and you guys just added more blood and madness. So he actually had completed his by his own death, by the spilling of his own blood. The last sacrament of the spell was completed, and the honeycombs with a strange rotting material is where Niogtha manifested and then pulled you both down to your final fates. But he did try to ensure, in case he didn't succeed, he used the body of the Swedish, the body of the Norwegian sailor. He reanimated it as a zombie with a spell from the tome, and basically had it walk across the bottom of the sea with a book and bring it to you. And you read it. So that's basically what happened. Christopher Sims is saying, why wait till next Halloween? Dungeon Minister wants Cthulhu for Christmas. I don't know, guys. I think we can step away from Halloween a little bit. And I see we've now have welcome 19 people. We had 12 at like the major climax parts, and now there's people signing on who are like, "Hey, I want to watch Call of Cthulhu while you're here for the post game." I'm sorry, but stick around. We've got stuff to talk about. What did my players think? James, what did you think?
Oh, it's definitely a Cthulhu game. I mean, it's what I've read about anyway. This is my first game time playing it, so I enjoyed it. Really did.
Excellent. I'm glad. Kevin, had you played before? Or?
Just during the con, right? We had a short session, but yeah, I haven't really played very much. So,
What'd you think? Was it as death filled and madness filled as you had hoped?
Yeah, it really is kind of what I expected it to be, but it was a little more interesting than I was figuring as well. So, with it being both a mix of the environment and then yourself. So that's something that I didn't see how they were going to pull it. So makes sense.
I'm gonna come back to you because I have questions for your questions. Now I know poor Todd feels terrible about the role he played in the Blood and Madness, but I mean, was there any other way it was going to end? I mean, when you think about it,
No. I was so hoping they would take me down though, because I was like, if they could just take me down, maybe slap some sense into me or something, it'll be okay. This was my first time playing, and once again, I would like to apologize for turning into a murder hobo. I apologize for that. I was rooting for you guys to get me. If that means anything, I was rooting for you guys.
And Doom Sword, what'd you think, man?
Yeah, I thought it was fantastic. For Danforth, for Todd, the good news is that spilling that guy's blood means that nothing good was going to happen. That we were all going to die anyway. Well, not me, because I, luckily went insane. But so there was no way out. I guess is the point, and that's how it goes with Cthulhu anyway. I enjoyed myself immensely.
Yeah, I mean, I had thoroughly planned for all of you to get eaten by Niogtha at the climax of the adventure, but you guys left poor Doomsword back in the radio hut. So I was like, what can I do? What can I do? I know what.
Yeah, well, thanks for not just leaving me there, for coming back, and it's cool to be able to read a Mythos book. It's been a long time.
There you go. And your Cthulhu Mythos is now 11%. Should you ever choose to run your 20 sand character through another Call of Cthulhu adventure.
Escape from Arkham Asylum, right?
Yeah,
right.
There you go. There you go.
One flew over the cuckoo's nest, kind of a thing. That would be awesome. Except you could call it One Flew Over the Cthulhu.
One flew over the Cthulhu's nest. I like it. So Bob Jester says, I only caught the first episode, the way it started, the Norwegians and landing on a frozen, desolate isle. I really thought this was a Carpenter and Kurt Russell movie. Well, thank you. I take that as a big compliment, Bob Jester. I really, really do. Being favorably compared to John Carpenter, especially at this time of year, especially Halloween, is quite the compliment. Nodens and the Night Gaunts. Niogtha, not to be confused with Nodens. Lovecraft mentioned Nodens and Bast in passing in a couple of stories. So when Sandy Peterson and company created this game, they put Nodens and Bast, and we just did Egyptian myths last night or night before last. I think it was last night, and talked a bit about Bast in there, but I I don't know that I'd run that Bast, even as she's described in the Call of Cthulhu rules. I would not. I would consider that too warm and fuzzy. Like, yeah, you're not going to get the cat goddess to come and save you guys, or Nodin's the old man of the sea. That's no. These are utterly alien gods, and those are anthropomorphized human beings of worship. But Broda says, I miss the insanity. How dare I not schedule my games around? You're completely unpredictable. Yeah, I'm sorry. I get a lot of times people come in and they're like, oh, I'm trying to get caught up on XYZ, but you got, and I am not getting snarky with anyone or throwing any grief at anybody, but I, honest to gosh, I did used to stream like during the middle of the day, and I was getting like 4 to 8 viewers. I remember the first day, and I think it was because I did a Let's Play. It was like one of the first Let's Play AD&D sessions. I had like 10 viewers, and I was over the moon that I had to, and that was combined. That was like 4 on Facebook and 6 on YouTube, and I was over the moon. And when I moved it to evenings, it really took off. I mean, and so I'm sorry, it's going to have to be evenings from now on.
Why not both?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure you 2 streams a day. I could shoulder that. But no, this was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I'm glad I thought of doing this. I thought about something a lot more elaborate, like with a soundboard and everything, but I literally, even though I started planning this in September, or maybe even been August, I don't actually recall now, with my wife's medical situation that came up, and she's fine now. By the way, I should add, my wife is doing much better. I didn't have the time, so I was like, perfect is the enemy of good enough. So I came with my DMing skills, and that's we did that. So
it's more personal. I'd like to say, Bill, it's more personal in this. Whereas if you have the soundboard, I don't know, more like a presentation. If you get my meaning. Maybe
no, I follow you. There's, yeah. I've had people compliment the lo-fi production of my show. Like, I like it because you're not, Captain Green Screen and Dutch wipes and multiple cameras and yada yada yada. That it feels just that way, more personal. People have said it in the stream comments and have said it to me post ex facto. So I do what you guys like, whether you're playing in a game on stream or whether you're just watching me scream and yell about stuff. Not that I ever do that. Not that I ever flip my shit and yell at the camera for 20 or 30 minutes nonstop. But no, I'm glad you liked it the way it was, because it was the way it was.
If I was to run this here in the house my wife and I live in is seriously, honestly, it's haunted for real. Mm-hmm. And if I was to run Cthulhu like at the dining room table, I would have to dim the lights, light some candles, and put on some like freaky music, just to kind of set the mood, I think.
Hey, what you want to get up to your own business. I'm sorry.
Well, that's just to make it less scary than it would be if you didn't do those things.
Right.
The reality's playing the game and you aren't.
By the way, for anybody who's curious, the screwed up text that I did in tonight's video description, because it's just like me saying everything's going to be fine, or everything's going to be okay, like 10 times, and then there's this weird text that looks all glitched out. If you go to that link, if you go to eeemo.net, you can do stuff like that. Like my name there is slightly glitched out. if you can see that. So if you want to do glitchy stuff in a basically, if the document you're typing in supports Unicode, it'll work. So that's how I was able to make my name a little bit glitchy. Todd has a real haunted house. That's what he says. Wave of mutilation.
Yeah, it's actually very true. There's an old man that lives in the front of the house, and he smokes cigars because you can smell it. And then there's a lady that's in the back of the house in the kitchen area, and if you don't put dishes back where she thinks it goes, you can leave the room, come back, and all the cabinet doors will be open and all the drawers will be pulled out. The old man, if I fall asleep on the couch, he'll slap your forehead, punch you in the stomach, stuff like that to wake you up.
Wow, far out.
So a real sanity loss then. So you lose sanity in the game and in real life.
Well, it's a bit unnerving.
Yeah,
You know,
getting pissed and trying to fight back doesn't work.
Right.
Dungeon Minister says what I think we were all thinking. I think that's your wife in the kitchen, Tonka.
Let me screw with this old man. I'm sick of his crap.
Same thing when he falls asleep on the couch, right? Do you open your eyes fast enough?
Next time I'm gonna slap him in the face with a book.
You know, actually, when we first moved in, the first 3 days, I was taking my wife to work. I would come back and the cabinets. Some of these cabinets are like over 10 foot off the ground. It's like, just they're basically for decoration. And every cabinet, including the ones at the very, very top, were open. And I was like, well, that's weird. So I went in and closed everything. And the next day, same thing, came back and everything was open. And I laughed and I went, good callback, and closed everything. And the third day, I was like, okay, look, this I ain't doing this every day. But the only time my wife has, because it's been focused on me, and the only time the wife has experienced anything was, it was our first weekend here, and she had come out of the master bath and turned the light out, and she had just got laid down, and the light turned itself back on.
Trippy.
Yeah, she freaked out, but like at night and I've been wanting to try to stay up to catch it, to record it at night, and at the butler door between the dining room and the kitchen, it sounds like somebody has a television or radio on at a really low level, because you can hear them talking. Anybody want to come spend the night?
I'm gonna hard pass on that.
The dogs we have are afraid to come to the front of the house.
That's very weird. That is super weird.
Come on, hey, we could all have a bunking party. We could sleep in the front room. It'd be great.
Speaking of ghost stories in this channel, one of these days soon, now, if you guys didn't catch it, Bob Jester says he'll do it. Wave of Mutilation says he's heading over now. That's going to be a hell of a swim, Wave, because I think you're down under, aren't you? But back a few months ago, we had Bob Antone of Tinkham Road. Bob's in a band with a friend of the show. He and Jeremy Rule are in a kind of a folk music band together. And Bob has some interesting paranormal stories and views, and it would be great to get Bob on again. I just, things got so rushed this season. It would have been fun to have had him on during the season of the witch, so to speak. But we'll have to get Bob on soon. He says he's seen some things. Now, to quote the great philosopher warrior, man would have to be some kind of fool to believe he'd seen everything there was in this world. So I am not giving short change to Bob Antone or dismissing out of hand any point of view that he has to say. But we talked a lot about Bigfoot and that sort of thing. No, the one thing I was going to mention, according to my wife, and I wasn't there, I didn't see this happen. She says she both heard it, reacted to hearing it, went, and then saw the event complete. We lived in some, at the time, they were probably 30, 40-year-old apartments. Not too far from us. Doomsword might know where I'm talking about. They were just over in Maitland. And I was at work. I was working retail, and I came home, and she says, well, a glass jumped off the counter and broke on the floor. And I said, what do you mean a glass jumped off the counter? We had these big, heavy, like 12-sided, not 12-sided like a dice, but they have like a socket. If you think of what a socket you get bolts off with, had 12 facets, flat facets on the outside. They were like that tall. I used them as pint glasses before I got proper pint glasses. But she had washed it and put it in the drying rack on the counter. So we had one of those pans that drained down into the sink. And she said she was sitting in the living room waiting for me to come home. And from the kitchen, she heard this thunk, 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 thunk sound. And she goes into, Damien, we wrapped up in about an hour and 40 minutes. And you can watch it again. Yeah, I mean, you can absolutely zing back and watch the whole thing.
And Damien, I would like to apologize for my character's actions.
Stop it. But she said just as she got in the kitchen, the glass was rocking back and forth on the counter. Now, before anybody asks, if you don't know Florida, it's not geologically active. We're a sandbar. Things don't rumble unless it's a sonic boom of a shuttle coming in for a landing, and that's over and done with. I guess a SpaceX rocket will make a considerable sonic boom. We don't shake. We don't get earthquakes here. We're not anywhere near that kind of geologic activity. And these are fairly sturdily built brick and wood apartments. And she said she watched it for 2 seconds because she was completely freaked out at the glass wobbling back and forth and then kind of jumping off the counter and breaking. And before anybody asks, my wife is neither crazy nor a drug user.
Well, this is a very, very true story. When I was a minister, I was a part of 3 different exorcisms, and one was basically the stand-in for the young priest to go and bless a home that had been having a lot of really weird stuff happening. And the priest and I both in the little girl's room were attacked by stuffed animals. Like, as in they came to life and attacked.
Oh, no, Todd, you were at a furry convention.
I wish.
Was
Because then I could have heard some screams punching back. But it was thinking back on it, it had to have looked really funny. These 2 ministers kicking stuffed animals that were coming after them. But that really happened.
That is far out, man. That is really, really, really far out. I don't I don't even know what I'd say or do if I saw something like that go down.
Like, what were you burning in those incense burners, man?
Well, you watched Akira. That's how I'd react, for sure.
There you go. Nice reference.
Yeah.
Thumbs up. But yeah, I mean, you can see, hey, when I was a kid, probably one of the worst things in the world that could happen to a kid my age. So anybody of Gen X will remember the sensation in the 70s. And I actually kind of blame this I sort of put this, the 70s really as a reaction to the late 60s, early 70s, I think, but the 70s was a big time of satanic panic. There were people who bought wholeheartedly into Dungeon Minister. Everybody listening to these stories, give me a sand roll. Everybody was starting to buy into it. It was a very hip thing out in the California scene in the late 60s to be associated with the Church of Satan. There's pictures of Anton LaVey hobnobbing with famous people back in the 70s or back in the late 60s.
You had Alison Crowley out there, and some say that the song Hotel California was in reference to the Satanic Church. Yes,
it's a reference to cocaine, though, as most Eagles songs were. But anyway, Crowley started the Agape Lodge out there, which kind of mutated. That's well beyond the scope of discussing. But in the 70s, so the Satanic Panic was on the rise, and I think that's part of why Dungeons and Dragons got a bad rap. It just got caught up in that katamari of nutty blue-haired church ladies. But those of you who are Gen X will probably remember the Amityville Horror. Oh, yeah. And if you're not, or you don't know about it, essentially, George and Kathy Lutz bought a 3-story colonial with a boathouse, a very expensive home at the time. They paid $80,000, or the equivalent today of like $600,000. But honestly, the property itself is probably worth $2 or $3 million, given that it is right on the river. And it was the former home of the DeFeo family, the eldest son of the family. One night, took a gun and murdered his mother, his father, his 2 younger brothers, and his 2 sisters. He was caught and sent to prison for it, and he died a couple of years ago. He was in his late 60s, and it was probably, they say it was complications of COVID. Well, when the Lutzes moved in, lived there for 28 days, and then left, leaving behind most of their possessions and furniture. And they claimed that they had been chased out of the home by demons, that they had experienced actual paranormal phenomena, which had not just like, here's a cold spot, do you hear a voice, but was like actively attempting to physically harm them. So that was in 1976. And they published a book immediately, and it became a nationwide phenomenon. A movie was made out of it fairly quickly. My cousin, who was in her mid-teens, maybe 14 at the time, spent a summer living with us. And for whatever reason, decided that would be a good book to read to me and my sister at night. We lived in a creaky old house in Gadsden, Alabama. So I suffered a sand loss because I became convinced that our house was haunted.
So that's what happened to you.
That's what happened to me. Thank you, Kim. Thank you for screwing with my psyche. So, of course, I mean, what really the real Amityville Horror is that Ronnie DeFeo murdered his entire family. There are no God, because all the horrible, creepy stuff that they talked about, like they found a secret room in the basement that was painted red, and it, there was a rotten smell coming out of it, and so on and et cetera. And members of the DeFeo family and people that had lived near them, that had come and played with the DeFeo kids and so on, were like, yeah, that room is red because the parents gave the kids, or the parents told the kids they could paint it, and the red was like the same color as some trim in the house, and it was the only paint they had. And it wasn't a secret room. It was where they kept the toys and books and games and stuff they played with in the basement, they stashed in there. So it was not a secret evil room. It's just, everybody knew about it. That's, oh, there's a toys, what have you. And so, yeah, the people who've lived there for years afterward, and God love them, everybody, they petitioned the city because the house's original address was 112 Ocean Avenue. And after that damn book and movie came out, nobody that lived there had a moment's peace, not because of spirits, but because of people showing up. People would steal the mailbox. People would steal the address. They had a little wrought iron address number sign. People would boost that. And it got to be where the police had to sit on the street. And if you pulled up in front of the house and parked, and obviously didn't have business, you would get ticketed. So eventually the city was like, we're deleting that house number. Nobody can live here. Or nobody can have this number here, so that the people who do live here won't be pestered to death. And nobody that's ever lived there has said, oh yeah, no, something horrible has happened here. There's demons and ghosts. And yeah, so but 6-year-old me absolutely believed it back then. I was certain that this house was, there was a house in New York that was filled with demons and devils, and, despite being 2,000 miles away from me, was somehow, my house was the same. But yeah, no, Amityville Horror, good stuff. And I'll tell you something. It makes a hell of a... if you want a good ghost story, read it. Just ignore any notion that it might have even been remotely true. George and Kathy Lutz, to the day they died, claimed that everything that happened in that book actually happened to them. Their kids, who grew up troubled in their own ways, claim that there was something amiss with the house. So I don't know.
Well, I have a question for you and for the rest of my Cthulhu compadres, which again, let me apologize. To me, the scariest, one of the two best ghost story movies I've ever seen was The Lady in Black, that starred Harry Potter, and The Changeling, which starred George C. Scott. It was like back in early 70s, if I remember right. What are two of the scariest ghost story kind of movies do y'all like?
Oh, beyond the shadow of a doubt, I would say probably. See, two is very tough, but I'm going to say The Shining. The Shining is one of the most horrific movies ever made. Hats off to Stanley Kubrick. That is an unsettling 116 minutes. It feels like 216 minutes. It is genuinely frightening. And I would have to say probably The Exorcist would be the other.
Yeah, Exorcist and In the Mouth of Madness was excellent. That was what, John Carpenter and Sam Neill?
Yes, that's a good one. That's a culmination of Carpenter's Apocalypse trilogy. They're not related films. They're just they work on similar themes. The Thing, hey,
right.
This thing gets loose, which is intimated it does with a seagull shot at the end. The world will end in a matter of 3 years. I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, those of you who are familiar with his body of work. Oh, we lost somebody.
Man, the cigar smoking ghost got that guy.
No, yeah. I would have to say, I would have to say, In the Mouth of Madness, The Thing, and Why am I going blank on it? It has Alice Cooper as an evil homeless person. Parker Stevenson is in it. Gosh, why help me out here, audience. The movie I'm thinking of, Prince of Darkness. That's it. Prince of Darkness.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. Prince of Darkness is good stuff.
Spooky. Believers was cool.
Oh, Believers is very well done. If you want a good spooky movie, The Believers. I thought Wes Craven's why do I keep going blank on these movie names?
The Thing?
No, Wes Craven.
Nightmare on Elm Street.
Nightmare on Elm Street is a good one, but I'm thinking of the one that he did, specific one that was voodoo related.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It took place in New Orleans, right?
No, it was actually mostly set in Haiti, with little bits of it, like New York as a framing device.
Yeah, Serpent in the Rainbow.
Thank you, Serpent in the Rainbow. I actually had I got from a video store this coffin-shaped display from Serpent in the Rainbow for my bedroom back when I was a kid. But yeah, no, Serpent in the Rainbow had some definitely unsettling parts in it, but it's actually got a happy ending to it. But it's a good flick. It's a good flick, Serpent in the Rainbow. Alien is unsettling for all the right reasons. Dan O'Bannon had a stated purpose in writing Aliens the way he did, which I will get super demonetized for repeating what Dan O'Bannon said about it. But it has to do with forced intimacy against men and other weird, creepy body horror stuff that he did with Aliens, and it was tremendously effective. Now TJ mentioned something interesting, and I'm going to throw this out first to my panel, as it were here, my players. Is not for the one scene, but in the overall, is Deliverance a scary film? Not for the one scene, the obvious joke. Don't make the obvious joke. What do you guys think?
It has some creep factor to it. I mean, trolling through the backwoods and having to worry about getting eaten by a bunch of hillbillies. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I would say that has the evil of man in it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Is really which apparently today's session was one of those sessions.
Thanks,
but
Todd.
Yeah, Todd.
Yeah, I think that's what's disturbing about it. That somebody can be so uncaring or indifferent that things like that could take place, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they went Lord of the Flies like that as soon as they thought they were in trouble.
And being in the circumstances would absolutely be terrifying, and that's all you really need to know about, whether or not it's scary.
Well, it was educational, though, and for anybody that's never been to the South or been to the hills in the South, it was good because it educated those people. If you ever hear banjo or see an albino boy playing a banjo, just leave. Just leave immediately and leave very quickly.
Paddle faster. I hear banjos, but no. Dungeon Minister brings up a good point. The last shot, little bit of a spoiler here. If you can get through again, the obvious part in Deliverance. The last shot in Deliverance is a jump scare, and that, I mean, hats off to John Boorman. That is a legitimately frightening scene at the last moment of Deliverance, and I really salute him for doing a good job there. It is delightfully unsettling. But it's not like, I wouldn't say, hey guys, you want to watch a horror movie and then put Deliverance on, because most people are going to think, Yeah, you're just trying to be gross. You're making a gross joke, but no, I mean, watching it by oneself, it becomes a creepily effective movie. So speaking of people lost in the woods, this has been a tremendously divisive film I have found, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was one of the most horrifyingly effective horror scary movies ever made. I love the Blair Witch Project. What do you guys think?
It made me sick to watch it. I seriously got motion sickness. I was one of those weirdos.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
I've never seen it.
If you don't get motion sick, I think it's worth a watch.
Yeah,
I thought it was cool. That was at the time before, that stuff was totally overplayed, because you know what happened afterward.
Oh yeah.
Everybody had to have something like that. Everything was like that, even in popular culture outside of movies. But I enjoyed it because it was new.
Yeah, I think they're still doing it today. I think they still try to tie that in somehow to some of their videos, like especially
Yeah. And like The Real Mermaid on Discovery Channel and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
everybody does found footage. Everybody does shaky cam, and I mean, like, I almost directly blame that cinema verite style on what would have been good spy flicks and could have, in my opinion, easily supplanted at least the current days James Bond franchises, The Bourne Identity.
Oh yeah,
the guy who shot the Bourne Identity apparently did it with a cell phone. Or a handheld digital camera. They didn't use any kind of. So the fight scenes were stomach churning. Which
those were great movies, though.
Yeah,
they were. It just, the fight scenes and the chase scenes. My poor wife was like, I really want to watch this. I really like spy thrillers and I really like action movies, but you're going to have to tell me when this is over. I'm getting motion sick. She tried to watch like 10 minutes of Blair Witch with me and was just like, I can't. We rented it when it came out, rented it on VHS when it came out, and she couldn't. What would be interesting is, because this is a technology that they have now, and it's funny, the first place I ever saw this, there was a very famous tank duel that happened in the city of Cologne during World War II. And it was filmed by the U.S. Army. And this was not like, hey, let's park a German tank over there and shoot it, and we'll narrate the. It was actually happening. A German Panther tank destroying a couple of Shermans before it got schwacked by one of the then brand new Pershing tanks. But of course, the cameraman who filmed it shot it on an 8mm handheld camera that was jerking and shaking constantly as he was trying to keep things in frame and pan up and down. Somebody used I don't know how they did it, but they basically corrected it so that it didn't shake anymore. So it's like you can find it on YouTube if World War II history is your jam. I wonder if you could make a non-shaky version of the Blair Witch Project using the same technology.
If so, I would watch that, because it was the first one. That one, it was really creepy when the camera wasn't pointed at the ground or pointed at snotty noses.
Yeah.
The movie itself was creepy. Like when they walk in the room and that person's standing there like staring in the corner. That's some Cthulhu stuff right there, man.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think I wasn't playing Call of Cthulhu regularly at the time, but probably after seeing that, probably every Call of Cthulhu game, they said, "Oh, we're gonna do this as found footage," like, oh, you guys have taken whether it's you've taken a 16mm camera and it's 1920s Cthulhu, or whether oh, we're doing Cthulhu now and you have a camcorder. I think they I think that probably kickstarted many games of of Call of Cthulhu there. So, yeah, Blair Witch Project, bad film, good cinema, I think is something we could probably all agree on. Yes.
I'll vote yes.
Okay. So
one of the films from the 70s that really got my goat when I was a kid was The Omen with Damien.
Oh yeah. The
three or four of those, weren't there? Three or I can't remember how many they made, but the first one
there
was
were
like
at least.
The Omen. Interesting bit of trivia: the little boy that plays Damien, to get him to give that evil smile, the director said before he shot that scene, he knelt down and he told the little boy, he said, "Okay, we're going to shoot that. You're going to turn and look at the camera, but don't you dare smile. You better not smile."
Oh.
And he said he was trying himself to suppress laughing. And he said, "So don't you do it. Don't you smile. We're going to shoot." Because if you're making a horror movie, whether it's Aliens with Carrie Henn or Danny, that was the actor's name, Danny in The Shining, or the young man who played Damien in the first Omen film, you can't be like, "Yeah, okay, we're filming a horror movie here, kid. Just stand over here while we have the blood and guts and Satanism going on." No, you tell them, "Hey, we're just having fun. It's a fun time. We're having fun." And the young man that played Danny in The Shining said he didn't like that. Stanley Kubrick was so nice to him and never gave him an indication that it was anything other than a serious movie. Like there was never any like legit scary stuff exposed to him. Good night, Dungeon Minister. But yeah, so the director of The Omen was like, "Now you don't smile. Don't you dare smile." And of course, when he called rolling, the kid turned around and cracked that quote unquote evil grin. And it just worked so well for him. Yeah. James, what's your favorite horror movie of all times? A favorite can be it makes you laugh, it genuinely frightens you. What is it? What do you got?
I think it was the Nightmare on Elm Street series was another one that kind of creeped me out real good when I was a kid. I mean, I enjoyed it. I was a teenager at the time. It was cool to go and watch these movies, but it was kind of squicky there when Freddy's crawling out of the ceiling and coming up out of the bed and everything else. Just all these things that you just don't imagine. There it is on the screen with blood and guts everywhere.
Yeah, the first one when he was not as sardonic and everything, when it was more mysterious, I think was probably in my opinion, was the best of them.
Dream Warriors had both Dawkins and D&D.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. Kevin, favorite horror movie for whatever reason?
Shaun of the Dead. Gotta be Shaun of the Dead. I know it's not really your traditional horror, but that's and Evil Dead 2 is close.
Evil Dead 2.
Yeah. I don't like the later ones because they're way too campy. Evil Dead 2 is the right level of campy.
Right. And the way that they shot it or whatever.
Yes.
It's awesome.
Yeah, the zooming demons.
Yeah.
You're the demon. It's great.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was just
all that.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I watch the other shows. I'm not a big horror aficionado as far as like blood and guts and existential threat, but Shaun of the Dead's I was like, this is what would happen to me if there was a zombie apocalypse, right? Literally, that's what would happen. So,
yeah. Well, Doom Sword, what do you got? Favorite horror movie?
Yeah, I'm not a huge horror fan either, but I've seen a bunch. I really liked In the Mouth of Madness, as I mentioned before. I liked Omen a lot, particularly the first one, and the second one. Exorcist was really good. What else? What was that? From the 80s, The Unholy. That freaked me out.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Something fun kind of was The Gate. That was good.
Yeah.
House.
An underrated gem, The Gate.
Yeah, House.
That's got some Cthulhu vibes to it.
Exactly. A creep show, those kinds of things.
Well, that Todd, favorite horror movie?
He says he can't hear in the chat.
He can't hear. Let's see.
Make a listen roll, Todd.
Let's see. Do we have too many Todds? How about now, Todd? Oh no!
His new name. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
You're kicked off the Discord, man.
So for me, I mean, I know I mentioned movies that I think there are scarier movies than this, but for me, my favorite horror movie of the genre is the original 1978 Halloween.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one.
So effective. It is so effective. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Todd. He says he's gonna try it again. But Halloween is hands down, and I'm almost sorry that Halloween was so effective, because Halloween started. We got 38 Friday the 13th movies, which are all, the first one is terrible, and they just got worse from there. Every imitator, My Bloody Valentine, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Black Christmas, on and on and on and on and on and on, when Halloween was really, compared to those, Halloween is almost a psychological horror movie.
Hellraiser was cool. I forgot about that.
Oh yeah, Hellraiser.
Yeah. Hellraiser's a good one. Hellraiser's a very good one. Dave says he liked the Rob Zombie remakes. I never saw them, because I felt like I felt like Carpenter's original was so good, and apparently the most recent two that are part of the quadrilogy, it picks up immediately, not immediately, but they basically regard their canon as Halloween 2, and then the first two, or the last two, including the one that just came out, is how they do it. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now you say it's fun. I think the second one is actually fun. The second one is genuinely fun. Let me see if I can add Tonka into the chat. Tonka, can you hear us?
You're muted.
You're muted, buddy. Unmute your mic. Can't unmute you because you choose to mute. All right. Let me see if this other one is you. How about now? I'll add as many of you as... No, we can't. Unmute your mic. It says you're muted.
There we go. We are
there. You go.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes,
hear you now.
Favorite horror movie before you lose your Arkansas again?
It's the old lady. She likes to turn off the modem. He's
done on the internet. Click.
Yeah. You're not. Yeah. Apparently, she's still in the Satanic Panic era. My favorite all-time scary movie, I would and it's not because it made me scared. It's just because it was such a great story. It's the Changeling, starring George C. Scott.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you'd mentioned it earlier. Yeah, the Changeling is a delightfully creepy movie. I remember seeing that.
When he throws the ball into the when he goes to the park and throws the ball into the creek and then comes back home, and then the scene with the stairway happens, I was like, oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Vince mentions the 68 Living Dead and The Birds. Both of those are extremely effective horror movies.
Yeah.
Interesting bit of trivia about the 68 Living Dead. For some reason, when it showed in Pittsburgh, they ran it as a Saturday matinee. They were literally like 10 and 11-year-old kids who got 75 cents from mom and dad or 50 cents from mom and dad to go see a movie, and saw Night of the Living Dead and were traumatized by that movie. And he got a lot of flack for that. So he's like, I didn't tell them to run it then. It's a horror movie.
Can I tell y'all a funny story real quick about zombies?
Sure.
Okay, so I lived for a few years in Sri Lanka. During that time, I met and married my now wife. Fast forward, we just moved back to the States. And do you remember the old 1980s Night of the Living Dead or Return of the Living Dead, where it was really super cheesy? The teenagers were hanging out in the graveyard. And
stuff. That's a fun one.
Know, at the beginning of that movie, it says... this movie is based on sort of true events. No zombies were harmed in the making of this movie, blah, blah. It's like a joke. Well, Sanji read it real fast, and she thought it said based on true events. And so she asked me, are zombies real in America? And being the good husband that I am, I said, well, absolutely. And so I made up this improv story about this town that doesn't exist called Blue Water, Colorado, and how and how zombies aren't people that are dead and come back to life, but it's like a crazy form of rabies, and it makes them crave meat, and it turns humans cannibalistic, and that they had to drop an atomic bomb to clean the area, but they didn't get all the zombies, and some of the zombies were taken to a military installation in Woodbury, Arkansas. And that the reason why, because we were living in a basement apartment at this time, and I said the reason why there's so many hammer and nails laying around is just in case the sirens go off. There's a certain siren that'll sound if the zombies escape Woodbury. And that gives us time to use the nails to board up windows and doors, but we don't have to board up all the windows. Some of this glass is zombie proof, and some of it isn't. And for a long time, she wouldn't go outside at night. And then she was talking to my mother one day. She'd gone to visit my mother, and she asked my mom, were zombies real? And my mom said, well, no. And she said, why would you ask such a thing? And she said, well, I asked Todd. And my mom went, okay, that's where you messed up.
You are the literal worst, Todd. You are the actual literal worst. That is hilarious.
I couldn't resist, man.
Oh man, that you carried that a long distance. Wow. Let's see. Tom Savini is a great artist, but he's kind of an egotistical. I don't know the man personally. I have heard stories. I could be. Vince says, "You mean your ex-wife, Todd?" No, she's probably afraid to leave the house to get on a plane back to Sri Lanka because zombies.
I keep telling her I'm going to get her an award for being married to me for this long.
I'm going to tell her that the modem attracts them if it's on.
Ooh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, cut your internet off, Todd. That's big brain. Your character can't get killed in the game if you can't get online to play him.
That's right. Danforth lives.
Modern problems require modern solutions. Yeah, so good spooky stuff, everyone. Very, very good spooky stuff. So I reckon next week we'll be returning to Call of Cthulhu. Listen to me. Next week we'll be returning to Gamma World. Unless there's something else I decide that we want to play. But I had people so desperate that they're like, please don't end Gamma World. Please just add another night for show. I'm like, guys, I'm not a machine. 5 episodes of the show a week is what you get. Saturday and Sunday, I got to breathe. I got to creatively refresh. It was just not in my creative ammo bag to do 6 shows a week. But yes, Troll 2 is legitimately awful. This coming week, I have a dear friend of mine, and she's an audience member sometimes. Aurora is doing apparently on Discord you can do watch parties on Discord. So we're gonna watch some terrible movies like The Worst Witch and stuff like that for Halloween. It should be fun. We'll be enjoying that. But whatever you do, whatever you elect to do for Halloween, please be safe. Please check your candy. I cut one of my daughter's Snickers in half, and I found an entire Strixhaven adventure inside. Clearly poison. Yes, I have notified the police. Thank you for your prayers and well wishes.
It does have coffee though.
Yeah,
At
coffee.
least it wasn't Detroit Lions tickets.
Take him to Detroit. If you haven't seen,
at least it wasn't Dallas Cowboy tickets.
Yeah, no, I mean there's some things not even child poisoners would do, Todd. But anyway, so do have a good Halloween, everyone. We'll be back on Monday, which actually is Halloween, which you'd think, hey, he'll do this on Halloween, but I didn't. So we're going to be back with Deities and Demigods, and I'll talk about normal, regular show stuff on Monday night. I'm not going to do it tonight. I always want to thank people who help out on the show. I'm not going to grift right now, but I am going to say thank you to Joshua Garlock, Lord Corion, Ricky Maru, Mobius, Kevin Reynolds, Doomsword, Mark Simpson, Damien, James F. Keck, William Smith, The Dungeon Minister, Mandy Wall, Mark Corey, Kevin Wood, Todd Sharp, Carnivore Farmer, Rob.
We know who you are.
Rob, we know who you are. Jeremy Rule, Boganora, Mikey Mank, Sky Hernstrom, this guy, fantasy author Sky Hernstrom, Pete Sullivan, the DM's Council, and Baron Von Headbanger. And I'm really glad we got somebody at the end there, Baron Von Headbanger, because when I would say Pete Sullivan, you finish up a list, you say and it would sound like a big band. Pete Sullivan and the DM's Council, Tonight we have author Jane Smith, Dr. Rupert Johnson's going to be talking to us, and our musical guest, Pete Sullivan and the DM's Council, folks.
Ooh, can I be the guy that brings out the crazy animals and makes you pet them?
You going to bring yourself out?
You could be the guy that kills everybody.
Yeah, once again, I would like to apologize for that.
Oh my gosh. I feel bad because there's 20 people watching, and I want to make sure everybody got fully entertained, because I know there's some people who came in late, and somebody was asking did I miss it? Yeah, you did.
I wouldn't be able to do what you do. I would be up all night.
So I'm working the crowd. You okay? You having a good time? Yeah. like before, when I used to like broadcast during the day, it'd be real easy. I'd glance over, 0 watching. Okay, I'm done, guys. I'll talk to you later, and just click off and be done. But now there have been as many as 24 people watching tonight, which is 24.
Yeah.
24-hour stream. A 24-hour stream's coming. I've just decided the 3rd anniversary show will be a 24-hour stream, and you guys will get to watch my sand drop in real time. Won't that be fun? But anyway, again, have a wonderful Halloween, guys, and we'll be back Monday. Peace to you all. I love every one of you. Be good to each other. Good night.
Happy Halloween.